A small island off the coast of New Jersey and south of Lower Manhattan, New York, Ellis Island would be the first stop for immigrants from 1892 to 1954. Immigrants had a long journey to be able to enter the United States. Sometimes male family members would come over first before sending for the rest of their family. Many families saved to buy tickets to travel across the Atlantic to the United States or traveled far to board the ships that would take them. Young and old immigrants spent several weeks or months on a crowded steamship crossing the Atlantic Ocean before stepping foot on Ellis Island. These ships were often divided by wealth and class, with first and second class passengers in staterooms or cabins. The majority of passengers were third class or steerage, staying at the bottom of the ship. When passengers first entered the harbor, they would see the infamous symbol of America, the Statue of Liberty. Sadie, an immigrant from Poland, described her passage. "We came by steerage on a steamship in a very dark place. It took us 12 days to cross the sea, and we thought we should die. But at last the voyage was over, and we came up and saw the beautiful bay, and the big woman with the spikes on her head, and the lamp that is lighted at night in her hand. Once off the ship, passengers were given numbered tags and corralled into the building to start the registration process. People carried with them all their belongings that they had brought with them from their former country. Even as people moved along to register, officers and doctors watched and viewed passengers that may have been sick. After registration, doctors checked for contagious diseases or health issues. Immigrants could be sent back if they were found sick. During exams, some immigrants were marked with letters, like H for heart, if they were thought to be sick. This could be a scary time for families if they were separated because of health, or even worse, sent home. During legal interviews, immigrants were often called up by officers to be questioned. There were 29 questions that were asked, often with the help of interpreters. Where were you born? What is your occupation? How much money do you have? Once inspections were finished, immigrants were filed into the stairs of separation. The center aisle was for detainees. Those traveling south or west would move down the right side, and those traveling to New York or north on the left side. At the bottom of the stairs, immigrants could visit the post office or currency exchange before heading to the U.S. Many called Ellis Island the Isle of Hope, as they had left their homeland for new and better opportunities in America. For some, it was called the Isle of Tears, as loved ones were separated and detained. Stephen Graham from Britain described finally heading to New York. At 3 p.m, I stood in another ferry boat with a crowd of approved immigrants arriving in the city of New York. That is what it feels like to pass the last day and still believe in heaven, to pass Ellis Island and still believe in America. During the 62 years Ellis Island was open, over 12 million immigrants came to the United States. Some even estimate that about 40% of U.S. citizens can trace at least one of their ancestors to Ellis Island.